June 3rd, 2020. Guys, you're looking at satellite images over the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see rain from southern Mississippi here, along the Florida coastline down into Cuba. All of this is a spinoff of Tropical Storm Cristobal, which is now up to 60 miles per hour as far as sustained winds. What it's doing, it's been bouncing around here in the Bay of Campeche the way that National Hurricane Center and the different models has said it would. Remember, though, Friday and Saturday, it's going to start getting out of this area. Now, the folks along the Yucatan in Mexico have been catching it for several days. They've got heavy rain, landslides, deadly flooding, and that started when the storm came out of the Pacific as Tropical Storm Amanda. So they've just been catching it for several days now. But again, 60 miles per hour, sustained winds, and we'll look at some of the models. But this storm is affecting a lot of weather. It's absorbing moisture, humidity, and you can see the results of it. The entire Gulf of Mexico is reacting to Cristobal in the bottom section of the screen. Now, looking at the National Hurricane Center map, Cristobal is located here, and the winds are at 60 miles per hour sustained. Minimum central pressure is dropping at 994 millibars. It is moving now southeast at 3 miles an hour. Yesterday it was moving northwest, but it's making the circle again that was predicted through all the models. At the very bottom of the screen, you notice that Cristobal is about to make landfall on the coast of Mexico. Heavy rainfall and life-threatening flooding threats continue. So you guys down there, keep an eye on this thing. You've been catching it for days, like I said. Now, as we look at this projection, Cristobal is here where the X is. It's a tropical storm, but as it moves ashore into Mexico, the wind, the mountains, and the land itself will slow the storm down back to a depression until it reemerges in 2 days. It's saying here Friday, as and becomes a tropical storm as it gets back into the warmer waters of the Bay of Campeche. Then 1 a.m. Saturday in the morning, 1 a.m. Sunday. It's going to be nighttime at that time. It's going to be here. 1 a.m. Monday coming ashore, central Louisiana. Now remember, this thing changes, and it's slightly more to the west or to the left than it was in the report last night. But anywhere inside this white cone could be the center of location. So, and that extends from basically Mobile, Alabama from Mobile Bay all the way to just south of Houston, Texas. So you've still got a wide track, and we'll look at some of the other models. But again, coming ashore, slowing down because of the landfall, and then coming back up as a tropical storm. Now, it's still saying a tropical storm at impact, but it rapidly developed from 45 miles an hour, or from 40 miles an hour last night to 60 miles an hour this morning. So we'll see if it remains a tropical storm. Either way, we're gonna get the same thing that Mexico's getting, and that is the heavy rain and life-threatening flooding. It's what we talked about last night in the New Orleans area. Now, these models were updated 36 minutes ago, and pretty much the same thing that we've been seeing on them, just slight variants. The Navy model now has the thing coming into Mobile Bay. Just pay attention to that. And the Canadian model has it coming in somewhere, I guess this would be east of Lake Charles in Louisiana, but this is just the center. So anywhere inside this, there's going to be a lot of wind and a lot of rain. And guys, I still expect it to become at least a Cat 1 hurricane, simply because of the temperature in the Gulf of Mexico itself. Now, let's take a look at the actual map for the Canadian model itself. You see the storm hovering around the Yucatan Peninsula, coming up pretty much right up the Mississippi River at this point, guys. Even though it's showing the center could come up in the central part of Louisiana, remember again, northeast or the top right quadrant of the storm has the most power, and you can see it's kind of, again, right up the Mississippi River. We'll watch this one because of the flooding potential, especially in New Orleans. At the Navy model, as we watch this play through, guys, it's showing that the storm is going to weaken here on the Yucatan Peninsula. It may not gain the strength that they were looking at originally because of the time ashore. but the waters are very warm where it's at. We'll just have to watch it. But notice, Mobile Bay, you're under the kind of the center of this. But when that happens, the northwest quadrant of the storm is the strongest, or northeast, excuse me, top right. So if it's coming in Mobile Bay, Pensacola, you guys, Perdido, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, you're going to be in that right quadrant, all the way really down to close to Fort Walton if it follows this path. So that will be the strongest areas. Just be prepared for it. Have some extra food and water or an evac plan if it gets strong enough to be where it's life-threatening as far as very powerful winds. You don't want to be caught in low-lying areas. Now, guys, we're going to be watching this like we always do during Hurricane Center, so start preparing now. Today is Wednesday. You only got a couple of days to get you a little extra supplies along the coast there. Gather them up before the water bottles are gone and things like that, guys. Get a little extra food. And supplies are already somewhat short because of what's been going on in the nation for the last few months. But we're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.